You don't always need a fancy location or expensive lights to get cinematic images. In this video, I'm going to show you how I turned my bathroom into a film set using just everyday lights. The goal was simple. I wanted to get the most out of what was already there, in that case just some daylight and a basic fluorescent tube. I'm going to walk you through all of the stages from flat looking to a more dynamic cinematic look, and in the end you're going to know a whole lot of tricks and techniques to shape and control the light. So let's dive in. This right here is our starting point. To give you a better idea of where we are in the space, in the room, I prepared something here in an application called Cine Tracer. You can find it on Steam, and I think it's pretty awesome. Let's switch the view. And as you can see, this is a pretty small room. The camera is right behind me on my left. I'm standing in front of this mirror, and the only light source in the room is this tube here, which is turned off for now. And yeah, that's basically it. So let's switch back to this view. What I did is I made sure to shoot into the corner of the room, which always helps to make an image more interesting. And I also placed myself as a foreground element to create a bit more depth in the image. I shot this, I think, mid-afternoon, and I set my camera's white balance to around 6500 Kelvin to match the existing daylight. And this is basically not even a bad shot. It just looks a bit flat, a bit boring, and we can make it more interesting. So what I did is I turned on the fluorescent tube, and let me show you the result. There you go. And this is already a huge difference. So why does it look that different? First of all, I changed the camera's exposure, because before it was set to the existing daylight, which was just a lower level. And so now we had a brighter image because the lamp was quite close to my face and I had to lower the exposure. And so now all of the existing daylight is also much darker, which just creates contrast by brightness. And also I changed the camera's white balance, because this fluorescent tube here runs at around 3200 Kelvin. So I had to adjust my camera's white balance so my skin tones looked correct. And this again leads to more contrast, because now we've got the existing daylight at around 6500 Kelvin and we've got this part here at 3200 Kelvin. So this creates contrast. What's also nice is that myself here in the foreground is now separated a bit better from the background, because if you look at this, I'm kind of melting into the background because of the light shirt. And here the light also helps by just kind of shaping things. So this is already not too bad, but still a bit flat, because my face is just front lit and well, it's lit evenly. So what I did was I used a piece of black wrap and I covered up like half of the fluorescent tube in front of me. And I didn't just cover up any random half, I covered up the half that was on the camera side. So if you draw an imaginary line between me and the mirror, I covered up the half that was on the side of the camera. So let me show you the result. There you go. So why did I cover up this side of the lamp? I always want to shoot into a shadow side of a person's face. This is just something to make an image more interesting, because yeah, again, the light helps shaping an object. And if you have the choice between lighting it from the front or lighting it from the other side, it's usually much nicer if you choose this approach here. And if we look at this image, we can now also see a pattern. We have some patches of dark and light, and dark and light, and dark and light again. And if you pay attention the next time you watch a movie, you will see this kind of checkerboard effect all over the place. This is something that really helps you to make an image more interesting. And so this image already looks quite nice, but what I also tried was to make this effect even stronger. So what I did, let's jump back to Cine Tracer. What I did, I placed, I didn't have a floppy, but I placed like a 5-in-1 reflector with the dark side right next to me. So it would block a lot of light that would otherwise just reflect around the room and back onto my face. And let me show you the result. This is it. And as you can see, again, it just creates even more contrast with a small adjustment without the use of any additional lights. And the checkerboard effect is now even more prominent and obvious. And with these simple steps, we could go from this image to this one And that's it. I think it's pretty cool what you can achieve with just basic lights that you have in your home anyways, with some simple tricks. So if you like this kind of format, everyday cinematography, let me know in the comments. Also subscribe to the channel so I know I have to create more stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one.